What's cracking, guys? And today we have a very serious noble news. So let's at least cue that intro. Anyway, as you can probably tell from the thumbnail, voice actor Vic Mignogna, hopefully I said his name right. It's extremely hard to say, so I'm just gonna call him Vic from now on, just to avoid embarrassment, has been accused of a lot of things lately. And it's pretty serious stuff. Among it includes being homophobic, being an absolute jerk, and also sexually assaulting people, including minors. So, it's pretty heavy stuff. If you guys have absolutely no idea who Vic is, he is a voice actor, a super famous voice actor dub of anime and video games. And he's done such titles like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is rated the #1 anime on Mao. And he voiced the main character, Edward Elric. If you want to see other things that he's done, well, just look down the list here. Just look down the freaking list of all the stuff that he has ever done. And it seems to go on for an absolute freaking eternity. He's probably one of the most recognized voice actors in the industry right now. And especially since he recently voiced Broly in the Dragon Ball Broly movie. Alright, now that you know who he is, I'm gonna try and take the most unbiased stance I can while looking at the facts and also giving you my own opinion on it. Because what's the point of me doing this video if I don't at least give you my own opinion on it? It makes it more interesting, I guess. Now, can I possibly cover every single thing that's being thrown into the mix in this one video? Obviously not. Okay, so don't hate me if I can't cover every single piece of evidence and throw it in here, okay? Evidence is a term I use lightly in this, because among it, it's just rumors for the most part. Anyway, since a lot of the big dogs such as Polygon, Anime News Network, and a bunch of other sites are covering this particular story, I figured I might as well put in my 2 cents as well here. Because you guys know that I've always been a fan of trying to get the facts right. And I'm just gonna say, I'm not always right, okay? I won't even pretend to say that I'm always right. But I will at least attempt to give you all of the correct info about what's going on so far. At least with all the truth behind it and none of the rumor part. Anyway, I should start with probably his Twitter statement right here, which reads as following. This is heartbreaking. Over the last few days, a number of comments and allegations have been voiced on social media. I'd like to share my thoughts. Homophobic? No. Some of my dearest friends are members of the LGBTQ community, including several that I brought into my production family on Star Trek Continues, which is his own Star Trek fan film. This is blatantly false statement. I said many years ago that I didn't think a particular character I voiced was gay, contrary to what some fans believed. Not because it matters to me at all, but because I was told this was the case. I also elected not to autograph yaoi, not because I am homophobic, but because I didn't wish to sign material that was not canon. Anti-Semitic? I couldn't even grasp where this was coming from until someone pointed me to a moment years ago where I was at a panel and referred to a bunch of noise coming from another room jokingly as a Holocaust. As I said then, it was a metaphor for Armageddon, death and mass destruction, but not the Holocaust. Could I have chosen a different word? Sure. In retrospect, I could have, and of course, I'm sorry that I offend anyone. I sincerely apologize to any convention staff members who ever felt that I was anything less than kind and grateful to be included in their event. Unknown to most staffers, contractual arrangements made in advance with cons were occasionally not honored when I arrived, and it made me frustrated. That does not excuse making anyone feel badly, and I am deeply sorry. I would also like to sincerely apologize to anyone who ever felt my interaction with them, a hug or a kiss on the cheek or forehead, was crossing a line. Never in a million years would it be my intent to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Rather, it was meant to show gratitude or support. I came from an affectionate, expressive family where such displays are commonplace. But I understand not everyone feels the same way, hence I will not be interacting in the same way with fans in the future. Understand this is the climate we live in, this is how it was meant, has to be. To my fans who ask me for hugs, etc., I'm sorry, but please know that I am no less grateful to or support of you. Finally, my allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and most certainly pedophilia are completely and utterly false. My heart weeps to anyone who endures a violation of this kind, so to be accused of harming others in this way, I have no words. Sincerely, Vic. Now that was a mouthful for me to say there, but that's obviously the most important thing on here, which is his official statement. And so now I'm going to be addressing these in at least a matter of importance as I go down here to show you where these claims are coming from. So we're gonna start where the homophobia stuff comes into play, and that was at a con in 2007, Toronto Anime Con, where he got this question.
And I'll be out there as long as I possibly can before I have to leave, okay? Yes.
Hi. Given that Clamp has a lot of homosexual themes in it and the mounting evidence against Phi being a little less than straight, what's your take on his sexuality?
Well, that's about all we have time for.
So, yes, he got a question about what do you think is his sexuality at a con in front of a bunch of fans. And you know how fans are. You know, they like messing with you and stuff like that. You know, like, that's how it goes. You can't really control what they say at Q&A panels. And his response to the jokingly, well, that's all the times we have question for, is probably how it should have ended there, but he does continue to answer the question because, you know, when you're up on stage, you kind of feel pressured to do it, so, you know, let's just go.
Okay, here's my answer. No, I've actually, as you can imagine, I've been asked this many times. Here's what I think. All right? You listening? I've spoken with Clamp. I spent time with Clamp at Anime Expo 2 years ago. They were there. And it may interest you to know that Phi and Kurogane are not homosexual with each other. Okay?
Tsubasa wasn't licensed over here 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And you don't read manga as far as
That's true, because I'm not making manga, I'm making the anime.
How would you know to ask that question if you
Oh, I didn't ask it. Colleen Klinkenbeard did. Colleen Klinkenbeard asked about Tsubasa because it was in existence. It just hadn't been licensed yet. So they were asked about it. Now let me explain something real quick.
All right, so he just said like he got the information, and I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not even going to question it. But apparently, one of his colleagues asked about them being homo, and they got the response saying, no, they're not homo with each other. Now, if you guys have read Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, or watched it, because it's also an anime, and the anime varies completely from the manga, let me tell you that, because I think at the time it was being made at the time that it wasn't finished. So obviously, animes can't go to the end if the source material itself isn't finished. So he is speaking from the anime, and which I would also agree is like, yeah, in the anime, they weren't really doing that kind of homo stuff with each other. Even though in the manga, there is strong bromantic stuff going on. And I mean absolutely strong bromance going down. But, you know, nothing like kissing. And we all know that Clamp is very keen on having homo couples. I mean, like, Cardcaptor Sakura, which is what Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles is based off of, had the brother and his best friend of Sakura, basically being a couple together. And it's kind of mirrored in Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles of the white-haired boy and the black-haired guy kind of being the brother and also, like, the best friend being a little bit romantic. Anyway, continuing.
There's no question at all that Phi, if you were to assign roles, if you were to take the four of them, Sakura and Sharon and and Kurogane and Phi. If you were to take those four and call them a family, Phi's the mom. Clearly, right? Phi is the nurturer and the softer one, and you did really good there today, you know? And Kurogane is clearly the dad. Would you disagree?
I think I would, given that I'm sorry, but I've read farther into the manga, and it's pretty much clear at this point that they are relatively long lines of soulmates.
Okay.
Alright, so like, you can tell that this girl is actually being toxic at this point here. Like that, it was pretty much established in the manga that, yeah, he had the mom role. He'd assigned himself as the teen mom and Kurogane as the dad. Like, it was actually in the manga. And she just blatantly disagrees, but no, I read the manga. Like, clearly not if you're disagreeing with it. Look, I understand, like, you want your pairings. That's fine. You can have whatever pairings you want. Like, feel free. I don't care. But, like, come on, man. Stop being toxic and say, like, this is the one true pairing. If you don't agree with it, you're wrong. Like, come on. Vic then goes on to say, okay, basically you're saying, like, they're soulmates and that they're doing it with each other, right? In which case, they weren't. And she was just like, whoa, I find that offensive. How could you say that? There's much different ways to be homo with one another rather than doing that. And they're like, yeah, he agrees with it, and I agree with that. But at the same time, man, like, come on. Like, you're pushing things a little too far here at a freaking fan convention. And since it wasn't in the anime, which he continues to say, is just like, well, there's none of that's in the anime where they're doing all that kind of stuff there. And so he just says, like, if it's not in the anime, then they're not that way. And even in the manga, they didn't do it anyway. Finally, the last bit here is Vic claiming he does not sign yaoi because it's not canon materials preposterous. My best friend drew a picture of his OC next to Edward Elric and Vic signed it. This is not an example of other fan work he signed. This is a lie. So fans are upset that he won't sign their boy love sexual stuff at cons in front of many different people who are probably underage. Does this not send off like oopsie doopsie signals? Look, even I feel awkward signing that kind of stuff, but I still do it. Like, because I love you guys, and you guys took the courage to bring it up to me, but I am a very different kind of person than Vic. But you have to know that this man is not associated with that kind of stuff. He has no presence in that industry type. And think about it. Even I would feel awkward if someone gave me my OC, a picture of myself in a very compromising position doing something to another dude, maybe like, I don't know, a male version of Lily. I would feel very awkward about that, of him showing this to me. And just because I don't want to see it doesn't make me a homophobe. It just means I'm straight. And think about it. What if the roles were reversed? What if a fan brought a compromising picture to a female artist, a male did the opposite here and said, here, would you please sign this off-brand anime picture of you, like in a very awkward position and getting like fluffed? Like, wouldn't that count as sexual harassment? At least to some kinds of people here? I'm pretty sure that would. So the fact that you're being offended of him not signing yaoi is preposterous. Just bring him a normal picture. You're at a con full of underage people surrounding you. Like, you better bring some normal pictures that he can sign publicly, alright? There's a time and place for your stuff, but not in public, bro. There was also even a clip of him arguing against Christian protesters saying like gay marriage is bad, and him saying that's not what I believe God, and he's a man of faith, should say to people. He should welcome them with love and not with hate. But like they're saying like it feels like it's set up and it's just for publicity purposes. Well, fine, whatever. I won't cover that one too well. Like, okay, sure. But this next clip is him from a BioCon in 2013 when a fan asked him this question.
Who's got a question? Yes, sir.
Not exactly a question, but no. What? Gay marriage.
What is my...
really? Do I really want to answer that?
Alright, so a fan says, what are your thoughts on gay marriage? At a con! What? Why would you ask that at a con? Have some decency. That is not where you ask that question. And then people call him a coward for like not wanting to answer that question. You're a coward? You're not gonna answer that question? Like, that's a con. An anime con is not the place to answer that. It's a time for people to have fun, to escape away from that kind of political stuff. Alright? People are there to have a good time, not talk about politics. But anyway, he goes on and answers like this.
Excuse me? You gonna yell something and walk away? Come here. Come a little closer.
Oh, God.
What were you saying? Yeah, but then you yelled something after. If I don't answer it, I'm a coward. Well, I can promise you I'm not a coward, my friend. So I'm gonna walk right up to your face and tell you what I think, okay? Here's what I think. The people should rule this country, not the government. This country was created by the people, for the people. There should be votes in this country. And when the majority of the people say what they want, that's the way the country should go. Period.
Go big.
Alright, so basically he's just said to this asshole, and yes, I'm gonna call him an asshole because that is not a question you do, and that is not the behavior you should have when asking that kind of question. He basically just said, hey, the people voted for this. With their own free will, they wanted this, and I believe they're right for that choice, just by saying that he agrees with that. So yes, he supports gay marriage. Is that not definitive proof enough? As one of my friends pointed out one time to me, and I agree with this statement, if we can be miserable in marriage, so should everybody else. And before I wrap all that up, I just want to say that is from like more than 10 years ago on some things. And you should know that you are a completely different person from you 10 years ago. And your views are gonna completely change in that time. And the fact that they're them holding him responsible for stuff that he said years ago, and the fact that he was actually still supporting them, like, is ridiculous. Anyway, this is from a panel at Techo Showcon 2010, where people are saying that he's basically a Nazi.
As I said, we're in here, you know, having this quiet time, and it sounds like they're having a Holocaust outside, because there was like screaming all kinds of stuff outside. Now, I'm sorry, guys, don't be offended. Holocaust is a generic word. It's a word. See what I'm saying? It's not a specific thing. There is the Holocaust, and then there is a word, Holocaust, and you can look it up in the dictionary, and it has a generic meaning.
So there you go. The definition for a Holocaust is destruction or slaughter of mass scale, especially caused by fire or nuclear war. An example being a nuclear Holocaust, as seen as in many video games and used in video games since. You know, with all the zombie stuff going around. The fact that people are getting offended at him using a word, just a natural word in the English dictionary, is just, that's absurd. Do you get offended if I use the term gay? It's like, I'm gay. Not as in I'm homosexual, but as in I'm happy. Like, yes, that term has gotten a completely different meaning now, unfortunately. Like, it used to mean you're just happy, but now it's just like, well, you're homosexual, and it had kind of like a negative connotation, but now it's positive, and I don't even know what's wrong, if it's even bad to say now. I just wish people stop being delicate snowflakes over a word. Anyway, just calling him out on something as silly as that kind of feels something scummy like the Wall Street Journal does to PewDiePie. Like, that's just bad. The man even apologized if the word offended people too. So like, I don't know what to say. Okay, the next one is him just being a jerk to staff members. Which there's, you know, a lot of accounts of people telling stories of him being like just a general jerk. And I don't really have anything to say to it. Yes, Mr. Vic could very well much be an absolute prick. He could be an absolute asshole. It could be true. All the videos I've seen of him so far on the internet have proven to me that he's just a normal, upstanding guy. But that's when he's in public and other stuff. I don't know about his private life. Now, do I think that he should lose his entire career because he's an absolute butt munch? Excuse my language. No. There are many people in the entertainment industry that are known to be jerkwads. I mean, I don't want to name a lot of people, but yeah, Justin Bieber certainly comes to mind. There are even people on YouTube who have a massive following and are known to be absolute D-bags. Do I think that they should lose their entire career, their livelihood, and everything because they're jerks? No. There's people I don't like on YouTube, and I still don't think that they deserve to have everything stripped away from them because I don't like them as a human being. If the world worked like that, everyone would be miserable because everybody has someone that hates them. Even the nicest people. I would never wish someone's career to end. I never would want that. And I never will do that because I stand by my morals that I don't want to end somebody's career just because they're a jerk. Because to somebody out there, they have some worth. They make someone happy in a non-harmful way to the community. And as long as they're not doing something completely illegal, then they should be allowed to continue. So yeah, whether he's an angel, a normal human being, or a jerkwad, like, I don't think that's relevant here. And finally, the big dog in the room here, the sexual assault of him, like kissing and hugging fans without their consent. Let's jump into that because that seems to be like one that actually has a lot of backing to it here. Anyway, evidence I've seen on sites such as Anime News Network, where they have the pic of Vic kissing this girl, and then with the caption, approximately 43% of reasonable rangers were underage in 2006. Making this extremely like, yikes here, ain't it? And then above, a picture of a girl kissing Vic on the cheek. Heaven forbid. Anyway, I found the source of the image here, and I'll have to blur out the face yet again because I don't want to make enemies of people. Where it's saying, like, if this doesn't disturb you, I don't know what will, and they're claiming that this girl is underage, and he's kissing her without her consent, and she's extremely awkward. And then right below is a person saying, hey, I was there when that photo was taken. That girl kept asking me and the others that when Vic was coming over and over again until when he got there, she asked for a kiss on the cheek. She's 20 years old, by the way. So not only was this girl overage, but she also asked for the kiss on the cheek by Vic, waiting in line for that meetup. So again, like, you gotta take some of this evidence with a grain of salt. And the fact that they're saying, like, the stats of 43% of the reasonable rangers were underage in 2006. Like, yeah, so what? PewDiePie's audience is a group of 9-year-olds. What does that have to say to you? Ninja's audience is also underage. So, does that automatically make you a horrible human being if you have young fans? I have young fans. Oh God, I guess I'm a horrible human being now. Just a statement like that offends me in the absolute stupidest way. What kind of journalism is that? Do you have to be over 18 years old in order to like anything in this country? Like, is that what we're coming to in 2019? But still, regardless, there are these awkward photos of him like hugging a fan and then putting his hand underneath her sweatshirt there. And then the pics of her smiling and him closing in and then also giving her a kiss on the cheek. Now, yes, I will agree, that's pretty awkward. Like, putting it underneath the sweatshirt there, yeah, that sucks. That's a little bit eyebrow raising, to say for certain. The kisses on the cheek, though, that's pretty innocent, man. Like, I hope that your mom, dad, brothers, and sister kissed you on the cheek, too, when you were young. Even now, I hope they still freaking kiss you when you're an adult. I hope people are nice to you. and are affectionate with you and love you. The fact that we're making like a kiss on the cheek or a forehead a way to condemn someone that's a little pushing it too far here now. The main thing, of course, here is obviously the consent factor, though. Is he getting consent? Some people are claiming that he is not getting it and he's just randomly kissing them on the cheek. And, you know, with the amount of encounters here, maybe there's at least one of them where he has not asked for consent and he's done it. Which I will agree is pretty wrong. And which he's also apologized for in his apology message on Twitter. Again, people come from different backgrounds. Vic comes from a very affectionate family. And I know some people are very reserved, especially in the anime community. So getting this kind of extreme amount of affection would be a little bit shocking. You also need to realize that this man has, I think, from what was stated, 2 to 3 anime conventions he goes to in a month. So that's a lot of anime conventions he goes to in a year. Of which he's been doing since like what, 2010 and before 2006 probably? So obviously when he's meeting so many fans, and this man is vastly, infinitely more popular than I can possibly imagine than myself here. I can only imagine that he's had a few awkward encounters with some fans and they've taken pictures of it and it's just like, well, that just happened. I've had awkward encounters with fans where I'm just like, shit, I wish I did that a little bit better. I mean, it's always weird when you are meeting this person who knows and loves you and feels like you're like their brother, sister, someone that they look up to, a hero, but you know absolutely nothing about them and have no idea how to handle them. Like, you just try and go with the flow. You're like, okay, sure, you know, like you try your best. And sometimes, like, you accidentally mess up, like, a hug, and it gets a little weird. You know, like, I didn't mean to put it, like, kind of, like, on the shoulder or on the neck, or, like, a little bit too low on the waist there. Like, god damn it, like, it's weird. Especially when they have, like, cosplay and stuff on. You have no idea, and they want a hug, and you're like, well, how do I, like, maneuver my hands so I don't fuck shit up? There was even a popular post on Twitter, like, of people kind of, like, shouting out their stories here, and I'll read to you a couple of posts. I'll never forget that time a bunch of friends and I were in the dealer's halls at a con, and someone mentioned his name, to which I loudly shouted, Vic, dude, I freaking hate that butthole. Turns out the reason he was mentioned was because he was right behind me, and a lot of people are liking it here. Well, that just seems like an absolutely rude thing to say to him. I don't know what kind of point you're trying to prove here. I wish I still had the picture when we had a hotel room next to him at EvilCon, like 5 years back, and he was rude to my panelists and overran his panel on purpose to spite us, and my roommates put his butt on his hotel door and farted in it loud enough for him to hear it and come out. So not only did you follow him and creep and stalk him to his hotel door room and expose where he was, but then you also like farted on it and disturbed him in his home at the time. Like, that's messed up. And people are celebrating this kind of behavior. A trans man friend of mine once saw him at a con, despite presenting male, even in a cosplay for a man, the guy still misgendered my friend, calling him a cute girl, even after my friend said he wasn't a girl. He's gross. Oh my god, he called you cute. What a jerk. Would you prefer to call you ugly? Holy crap. Look, I get the whole trans thing here of you wanting to be labeled properly by what you want to be labeled by, but you gotta admit at sometimes, like, depending on where you are in your transformation, it gets difficult for you to tell. And accidents happen. I sincerely doubt he called you a girl in a malicious way. Especially calling you a cute one. But then there are tweets that say, at SoccerCon, friends of friends, underage of course, friends of friends, were invited to, so already we're going through the grapevine here. Friends of a friend were going to the hotel room for a drink. Of course, when they got there, they realized that they were the only ones there with him and booked it straight out of there 10 years ago at least. My god. And if any of them could DM me, I'd love to hear from them, says somebody. And then I'll see if my friend is still in touch. So this person sounds like it was a friend of a friend who they have no connection with anymore. Like, oh my god, this is evidence now? And yes, there are stories in this thread here that basically do say that he is pretty gross, such as like he's fondling younger girls and inviting them to go up to the hotel room, etc. and stuff like that, but there's no proof of it. And that's kind of the problem here. Like, I want to believe some of these stories. Like, some of these sound absolutely horrific. But if he's doing this all the time, how come nobody has caught him on camera yet? The most we see, obviously, are the pictures of him kissing people on the cheek or the forehead, and also the hugs. And that's all I'm getting. A very big story that a lot of people are citing, especially in news articles, is this one here, which I will read. I've been seeing a lot going around about Vic recently. I've kept quiet because I didn't want to ruin my career. I do not want to get involved, did not want to get invited to conventions. But I can't keep quiet about it anymore. I used to have the same opinion as everyone else. Oh well, he's always been nice to me, but after seeing his behavior evolve in front of me over the years on my own assault story, I can't keep it to myself anymore. About 10 years ago, I was a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed cosplayer at the height of my cosplay career. I was really well known for being the official character model for several anime companies and worked a lot of voice actors for events. I was so high up on the staffer at conventions I loved, I was also going through a divorce. A voice actor I'm not going to name because I can't be alone to do this, he's too powerful in the community, that I really admired and thought was cute was flirting with me. Used my divorce as an in, him and another man kept feeding me drinks. Despite another voice actor kick him in the leg to stop, he kept going. He invited me up to his room to see his Japanese candy collection. I blacked out. I woke up half off his bed, undressed just from the waist down. I couldn't even see whose room I was in. I gathered my stuff and left horrified. After talking to a couple people, I pieced together what had happened that night. I was too young to understand what consent was in the situation and thought that he was truly interested in me. Alright, so I'm just gonna stop there because there's a few warning bells that should be hitting you right now. Apparently, her saying that she was too young, too innocent to understand what consent was is stupid. She was married and even getting divorced. At that point, you are now a full-grown adult responsible for your own actions. Do not give me that bull crap. And apparently, she doesn't know how to say no and stop drinking alcohol. Because I guess she's also too young and innocent to understand that drinking alcohol makes you black out. You have the power to say no and walk away at any time. And since you blacked out, apparently you woke up in a strange hotel room that you didn't know. Okay, fine. But, like, you blacked out. What were they going to do? Leave you on the floor of, like, a club, a bar, wherever you were when you had these drinks? I think the only answer is maybe go through your phone, which may have been locked, so that could have been impossible to do at the time. So maybe they don't have any contact to where you may be staying, so I guess they take you to the safest place, and that is their own room. Like, honestly, I don't know what the proper course, like take them to the police, I guess? Would you just drop off a drunk, blacked out person to the police, I guess? Imagine waking up in a jail cell because you were too drunk. That'd be horrifying. But anyway, that was a whole tie-in to Vic here, where apparently she met him later, and he stopped her from leaving, and where he then slides his hand up through her hair, which is long at the time, and tugs on the back of it, and basically tried to seduce her. The weird thing is here that not only did he do this weird gesture of sliding a hand through her hair and tugging it, and saying, like, mentioning another dude, is that she got away at the time, a friend interfered, and then it happened a second time where he grabbed her hair and said the same thing? And said that he wanted to do her? Like, this just seems very odd. This whole story sounds so bullshit to me that I don't know what to make of it. But anyway, I can only hope that this is made up. I really want none of this stuff to be real, because it just seems so far-fetched. And the fact that you're stressing like I was too naive even though I was married and getting a divorce and I absolutely had control of myself and I was a fully fledged adult capable of making decisions, but I won't take responsibility for that. Just seems over the top. I mean, I'm gonna keep going through some stuff that people have been posting here on like Tumblr. I drew Yahweh and slipped under Vic's hotel room door at a con. The story spread around and someone asked him about it at a Q&A panel and he adamantly denied anyone has ever put anything under his door. Why he gotta lie like that? So this person stalked Vic all the way to his hotel door and put in gay homo anime porn just for him to look at, and he basically spread rumors about it at cons, getting people to talk about it, and Vic, being the professionals, just denied it because he doesn't want to admit where he's staying and have invaded his privacy and also done illegal stuff. Like, what the heck is this community? Are you guys not saying anything about this clearly illegal behavior? You guys are supporting this kind of stuff in your crusade against Vic? Another one here is, I remember one time at Anime Expo LA, he was asked like, how do you stay happy or something? And he legit said, well, I do something once a day, blah, blah. It's very special, I just close my eyes and thank God for everything, blah, blah. Then he asked for everyone in the audience to close their eyes and pray to God thanking him. And almost the entire audience did. Oh no, you're thanking God for your success! What a horror story! But anyway, there is stuff of him online, especially on YouTube, of, you just gotta type in Vic Mignogna, and then you will see a bunch of stuff of him meeting people, about him kissing people. And here, let's just check a few of them out. Alright, here's a quick 6-second one.
Videos. No, now it's recording. Ready? Okay, ready?
There you go. That was the exchange there. Just a quick peck on the cheek. And fangirl squeals.
We should record something for her.
Yes, please.
What is her name?
She loves Tamaki and her name is Maddie.
Maddie?
Here.
Tamaki loves you too. Oh, I promise he does. If you were here, you would come around. Let's pretend this is you right here. And he would come up to you and he would say, please be mine for
Best sister ever, right?
Now she got to do her homework.
Thank you.
Again, that was another video of him just saying a message to a fan. For a girl that likes Tamaki, who is supposed to be this smooth dude. And he's playing his role as the smooth dude that seduces women in the Oran High School Hose Club. That was what they did. They seduced women. Made them feel like they were loved. That was the point of it.
And I had to say, I found on YouTube that you were proposed to by a Roy Mustang cosplayer. And
yes,
you said,
it's true.
if it was fire sauce, you would have said
They're
yes.
waiting.
So, will you marry me?
Yes. I will do it.
I did it. I got it.
We're going to be so happy together. Are you getting a picture? Are you going to take a picture first?
I'm videotaping.
Oh my gosh, we're taking lots of pictures. Yeah. Would you snap a picture for me?
You gotta get
Alright, and that was an exchange of a girl proposing to him and him very politely and saying yes. Like, I don't know what to say. There's so much footage of him just being kind to fans at this point. Especially at points where he could have easily taken advantage of stuff, but he obviously didn't. He just seemed to be an upstanding guy. And now all of this kind of stuff is happening during, like the premiere of the Brawly movie. Like a huge thing in the anime industry right now. And obviously some people are upset and are attacking him at key moments like this. It's very common in the entertainment industry and just real life. Same thing happened to Kevin Hart, who, once he was announced that he would host the Oscars, suddenly people are bringing up some homosexual comment he made years ago, and he had to step down. Not because of the comments were actually, like, legit and he hated them, but because he didn't want to tape, like, a celebratory event of actors with this background accusations and dirt going around. So right now, all I can say is a lot of this just looks like complete slander to me. And people are giving into the slander without actually looking at the sources and deciding for themselves, like, you know what, that does look a little bit fishy and it looks a little bit made up. Personally, I don't know Vic. I don't know if personally, like, of all of this is true or not, but again, I'm gonna have to go with innocent until proven guilty. And so far, I have seen zero evidence saying he's guilty. The most I've seen is of him kissing fans and pecking them on the cheek. And the girls are clearly smiling in the pictures as well, enjoying themselves. I assume there's also pictures of boys smiling and enjoying themselves with Vic as well. Anyway, this has been an enormously long video for me, and I've tried to cover as much as possible. So excuse if my edits are obviously not the best, because there's so much to cover and so much stories, and I tried to cover as much as possible. Again, if evidence pops up pointing to me that this man is in fact guilty of all this stuff, please send it my way, and I will absolutely change my opinion. But for now, all I see is just people attacking him because they want to see this man's career ruined. And there's nothing scary to me as an entertainer when a group of people are collectively coming together to try and ruin your career, especially from stuff that you have done over 10 years ago. So anyway, that's all for the Noble News. Thank you for sticking around for this long video. Please leave a like, because I know I'm probably gonna receive a lot of hate just because I'm taking this kind of stance on it and trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I haven't seen anything too condemning against Vic here. So like, again, I'm probably gonna upset people. But hey, if you are upset and you actually do have like solid, concrete evidence of like a video or a picture that shows him doing absolutely horrific things, not just a peck on the cheek, not just a kiss on the forehead, not just a hug, like actually like doing bad things, then please send it my way. And also, of course, not just stories of people with no backing to them. Anybody can be an anonymous on the internet and make up stuff about a person or an individual. If he really is this horrible person, there should be some concrete evidence to back it. But anyway, for now, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you beautiful sons of guns again next time.
You crazy mother.